Hello MTV and welcome to my crib, meaning my bathroom, meaning where I'm about to be trapped for the next 2.5 hours because we are getting rid of your breakouts today because your brushes are disgusting and that's what's making you break out. Surprise! So if you feel like every time you put makeup on, you have the worst skin, you feel like you're breaking out, you feel like your skin is like somehow worse after makeup, this is probably why. If the tip of your brush has not looked white or fully black or whatever color the tip of your brush is since the day you bought it, I hate to break it to you babes, there's bacteria on that. It's disgusting. Clean your damn brushes. And if you are a makeup artist who has been in the game for so long and all you use is Cinema Secrets, put your certification right there in my hands. Certification, license, whatever it is. Put it in my hand right now. Fantastic. Gross. If you want to make sure you're not known as like the worst rated makeup artist ever and like actually get hired back for things, please make sure you're washing your brushes. If you haven't seen me on this account since 2021 or whatever my last video was, yikes, please don't go look at it because I've been busy. The last 2 years have been crazy. I worked in news, I snapped, I left news, I moved across the country, and now I work in social media management and I am doing makeup as well. So big changes. I haven't gotten a chance to wash my brushes since the last thing I worked on. And now I get to wash everything today. One person asked me a while ago, how do you wash your brushes? What do you use to wash your brushes? Some people will tell you have to go out and you have to buy the super expensive, super brand name brush cleaner, right? No. You really don't have to. They're trying to sell you something. One big thing that you'll learn about this industry is somebody is always trying to sell you something, including myself, because I mean, I have my own cosmetics brand, Narcissus Beauty. You should go check that out. In these sort of aspects, I am just trying to educate. That is all I want to do. I just want to educate you and teach you the best way to not only do this craft, but also not spend as much money as a lot of people feel like they have to on this craft. Brush soaps are 100% one of the things that people try and get you on. I was buying the Real Technique brush cleaner and I was spending like $15 every single time for this little like teensy tiny little bottle like that. Not necessary. And then I would panic when I would run out because I was like, oh my god, I don't have any soap. I can't wash my brushes. I have a shoot tomorrow. Why am I waiting to the last minute to wash my brushes? I mean, I'm waiting to the last minute to wash my brushes today. I have an event tomorrow that I have to do my makeup for, so like that's why I'm making this video to begin with. So like I'm making fun of myself for doing exactly what I'm doing now. So in the description, I'm going to make a list of the things that you'll need to wash your brushes, which is really not much because if you're like me and balling on a budget in a new apartment, you can't really be shelling out money like that. And that's just the reality of it. I am doing the most bare bones brush cleaning right now, okay? I forgot a lot of the essentials at home. They're being mailed to me. Step 1 of what you're gonna need. You can either use baby soap, but if you're like me, I forgot to buy baby soap at the dollar store. Fuck. Dawn dish soap. Dawn dish soap is perfectly fine to wash your brushes. If they can use it on the oil slick ducks, you're fine to use it on your brushes, okay? You definitely have this in your house. So long as it's like a gentle dish soap or like a clean dish soap, whatever. You have dish soap in your house. There's literally no reason for you not to wash your brushes if you have this in the house. And even better, if you have kids, if you have a baby, use their soap. And if you don't want to use their expensive soap because you have like that Honest brand that's like $30 for a half an ounce of baby soap, I don't have kids. I don't know how much things are. Just go to the dollar store, buy baby soap. So it's literally zero excuse for you to not be washing your brushes. You're gonna need a bowl. This bowl currently has Dawn dish soap in it. I don't want to turn it anymore because it's gonna go on my pants. Now what I normally do have that I did have, but unfortunately my sucky movers, I'm gonna call it as it is, popped the bottle in my boxes. I had it in a box that said fragile on it. They threw that box and like a bunch of things in that box got damaged. Cinema Secrets or any sort of dry brush cleaner is going to be your best friend in this process as well. I will not be using it today because my entire $45 bottle of the big, massive bottle of Cinema Secrets spilled out into my boxes. Now I have none. Now I gotta buy a new one. Fantastic. It's a tax write-off, but what the fuck. Those two things are gonna be your best friends. If you don't have dry brush cleaner, I'm not gonna ask you to go out and buy it. I will explain what you would do if you had dry brush cleaner. We're washing my brushes and my other clients' brushes. I am very like aggressively sanitary with my brushes, so I think it's worth at least showing you guys what it would be if I had that. So without further ado, ado, let's get into this massive bag of brushes. This whole thing is full of dirty brushes. And there's some that fell on the floor in the first take of this on my camera, but my camera died and all my batteries are at home. So those also have to be nailed. Things are going really, really well right now. I'm actually having like a really good time, and I'm not stressed about leaving things across the country and needing them right away and then not knowing that they're not. It's really simple. I love it. I am very excited to be living in Los Angeles. This has been a dream of mine for a very long time, and I'm happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here. Just a girl. So we're gonna have this very lovely, like, hopefully my side profile is good. Or it's gonna get really meta. Shout out TikTok Shop for showing me this little screen thing that I can watch myself on the back camera when I'm filming on my phone. So I'm watching this and I'm watching my side profile. Unrelated but not unrelated. If you do feel like you're breaking out from makeup or just randomly breaking out and you don't know why, there is also a very high possibility that your pillowcases are making you break out. Your sheets, your pillowcases, beyond just stress. If you wear those bonnets, like I do, or if you wear those like V chin strap things that went viral on TikTok as well, you have to wash those. Those can cause breakouts. There's bacteria that can grow on that stuff. And it's really important that you keep in mind that every single thing that you put on your head, on your face, on your body needs to be washed constantly. Your pillowcases should be washed every 2 weeks, period. Every 2 weeks is fine. If you have the ability to wash your pillowcases and change them every week, you should be changing them every week. If you stay with your pillowcases for a month, because I've done that before and I understand, sometimes you're not able to do it right away. If you're staying with those pillowcases monthly, you will have breakouts on whatever side you sleep on. So just make sure you're being cleanly, and all of your tools, all of your skincare tools, all of these things, make sure that you are washing them down with 70 to 90 proof alcohol after every use, or at least once a week. If it's skincare stuff, that should be wiped down after every use. I know, it's annoying, but the price we pay for beauty is being clean, and you can't be dirty and pretty. I don't make the rules. I'm just sharing what I know. Okay. Usually when I wash my brushes, I have this little like scrubby head thing that I rub it off on. Yeah, so I don't have that right now. I am using a clean Scrub Daddy. I swear to God. This is brand new. I took this out of the box specifically for this. Sometimes you have to make do with the things that you have. That's it. There's some things that we just can't choose in this life. Anything that has a bit of that grit to it, that will really help you rub it back and forth. Ideally, this would be a TV show. I am in the middle of watching White Lotus, but unfortunately I'm filming on my phone, so that's not happening. I have literally until Thursday to watch season 2 before it gets taken off of Hulu. And your brushes. Now usually my brushes are laid out and I have this bin, but I didn't bring the bin with me at home, so they're just gonna hang around in my brushes. And there's also an eyeliner in here, and I don't know why it's in here. So make sure you have your brushes laid out. Also make sure that you have a designated space for your brushes when they're clean. For right now, I am gonna move this brush case onto the opposite side and move the dish soap over. I just want you to be able to see everything first. That way I can grab with my left, clean with my right, put on my right. I just cleaned my kitchen table, so I will leave them on my kitchen table to dry overnight. You also are going to need a clean bath towel, or just a clean towel in general. So I'm gonna go grab mine and I'll explain that in a second. I'm gonna be using a hand towel just because I don't feel like using a big one. They're from Amazon. They're like these super fast drying ones, which will be very helpful for us. I've also washed my hands. So if you see me touching the things that I'm about to use, my hands are clean, as is my sink. You cannot wash your brushes in a dirty sink. That is gross. Wash your sink before you wash your brushes. Why are you gonna wash your dirty brushes in a dirty sink? That beats the point. So just make sure your sink is clean, your towel is clean, your scrubber thing that's not a Scrub Daddy. Just make sure your bowl is clean. Every single thing needs to be clean. It's just a sanitary thing. I cleaned this down with Lysol, and I just scrubbed it down to make sure all the gross stuff from like my makeup from the week or my skincare, whatever fell out, is done. I kind of wish I washed my brushes at home because I didn't really want to run up my water bill like this. I like to leave it running just a little bit because I don't always use a lot of water initially when I am scrubbing the brush down because I feel like I lose a lot of soap. So normally if I have the dry brush cleaner, it would be dry brush cleaner, then soap, scrubber, towel, and then move to the side. But I don't have that, so we're just going straight in. I'm gonna take the M433 brush from Morphe. It's gross. It's pretty dirty. It's pretty not clean. And I haven't cleaned it in a minute. So, you know, we're just gonna go straight in with this. I'm gonna go in dry like this. And I'm just going to tap the smallest amount at first to see how much of it I actually need. You're gonna run it underneath the water like this, and we're gonna use our Scrub Daddy until you see the suds turning white. Scrub-a-dub-dub. See how the suds originally went from brown and now they're this white color? We can assume pretty decently now that it's clean. And so we're gonna rinse off the Scrub Daddy as well as this thing. But you're not done. You're not done. This is not the end of washing this brush. Look at this handle. The handle is filthy. Even if it's just a little hand palm print or whatever, it's filthy. To clean your brushes, you also need to clean the handles and like this metal piece. I take it on my finger, I don't know. And then I literally just go back and forth, just like this. Now, usually this is easier with the Cinema Secrets and it'll do it pretty quickly. And it'll also sanitize as well. With the soap, it is a little bit more difficult. You have to wait for it to set up and everything. You should not be washing your brushes with only Cinema Secrets though. I can get away with the handle. Like you can get away with the handle, but the actual brushes themselves should be washed with soap and water. Once you know you have all of the soap off of your brush, off of the bristles, you take your towel, and we're just gonna exactly like this, back and forth. You don't want to damage the integrity of the brush either, but you want to go back and forth enough to know that in 24 hours you will have a dry brush here. And you just put it in the corner. I have it right there in that corner so it doesn't fall. And if it falls, I will cry. Because if it falls, then you have to wash it again. And that's not something that we want to do when we have all of these other brushes. We're just going to repeat. I'm going to do all of my little brushes first, and then we're going to go with the bigger ones. So this is when I first touched the Scrub Daddy. And it's... See if I can get closer, you can see the color. It's pretty brown and it's starting to turn white, but I think I'm gonna run the water a little bit more so we can really rinse this Scrub Daddy off. This is also hard because I'm a righty and I'm doing this with my left hand. So I'm holding this with my left hand, but I'm essentially blocking because it's over there. You're over there and it's too far. This one seems pretty clean on the handle, so I'm literally just gonna run some water over it. Go straight onto the towel. Sometimes you also have to make sure, because you're using a thicker soap, like a dish soap, sometimes you just have to make sure that the soap isn't still on the brushes. That's the only bad part of not using a brush soap. It's almost a little bit harder to get them dry. I like to do a squeeze test to make sure there's no more soap on it. If I see any more soap, I'll just like run it in a circle in my hands, kind of like that. And I will just repeat the process until I don't see any more soap coming off of the bristles. Camera doesn't seem to want to cooperate, so we've got this weird angle going on. I'm so sorry in advance. So sometimes we have brushes like this where the gel liner is like super stuck onto the brush. So we just have to go in a little harder. Now Cinema Secrets makes something like this a lot easier because it will melt it off a lot faster. So this is going to take a longer period of time, unfortunately, but we will make it work. Again, we don't want to lose the integrity of the angled shape, so we want to be really careful and mindful about that. There's also a possibility this might stain the Scrub Daddy, and we probably won't be able to get this off. So I'm going to use the opposite side of the Scrub Daddy that we haven't used yet for anything that is a little bit more pigmented like this. So now with a brush like this, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get all of the coloring out because I don't have Cinema Secrets, and that gel color is very pigmented. You can see it's more gray than it is pink. It's supposed to be pink. Unfortunately right now it's not, but once I actually get Cinema Secrets, I will in fact be using that to clean this and it will be back to normal pink. I would not use this on a client because it is in my head dirty. This is a little insider secret. If you feel like your brushes are stained, okay? If it's like stained red, use the color that's opposite red on the color wheel. That's the genius thing. You take like a green color corrector or a green paint or something and you smear it all in there. And then you dip it in some Cinema Secrets and then you dip it in some soap and then you scrub it dub and it'll go back to normal. Washing these silicone ones are pretty easy. All you really have to do is just dip into some soap, massage that in, and just make sure all of the like dirty bits are out. Again, rinse off as usual. And this one's a lot easier. You don't have to do a crazy dry or anything because it's silicone. You can just put it off to the side. So these are also very interesting to clean. They're fun. I literally just dip it into the soap and I use my own hand to sort of massage it. Kind of like this. I'll wet it and I will use the back of the brush to sort of go back and forth with it. And it's a really interesting gesture that you get to do. So if you're not comfortable doing that, just use your scrubby thing and go like that, as you normally would. And again, rinse it off. This is going to be a little harder to get the soap out of because there's so many ridges. So just keep massaging it until you see that all of the white from the suds are out. The flat brushes we're also going to do in a very similar way. We just want to make sure the integrity of the brush stays the same. We want to make sure it's still flat. This one is a little bit damaged, but it's nothing crazy. So I'm just going to take the soap on both sides, take the Scrub Daddy, flip it back over. And we have another brush like this that has the black liner stain on it. So I am going to try my best, especially because this is a very small brush. And it might change the integrity of the brush if I go a little too hard without the Cinema Secrets. So I'm going to tap some soap onto it. And we're just going to go back and forth until we can't go back and forth anymore. Now what's nice about this with the Scrub Daddy is that the ridges in there are so small that it might actually be able to like grit everything out, but it won't get rid of the stain, which to me still means it's not clean because this is an orange brush and right now it is stained black. Yeah, so without destroying the integrity of this brush, this is as much as I could go. And I'm already starting to see some of the bristles snap, so I think it's best to not go too hard on that one and just not use it. Now we have this brush like this. This is pretty much the same as the blending brushes. We're going to go back and forth until we see no more gray. Now, one of these is also very important to wash because these are going directly onto your client's eyes. So again, I'm just going to do this manually. I'm going to get in between the little ridges. And if you want to wash, like go back and forth with the brush as if you're brushing teeth. Yeah, no, I'm afraid to break the comb. And then you can just rinse it. Mind you, I'm washing the handles on all these. I just don't feel like showing it. There's a lot of frequently asked questions when it comes to washing your brushes. And I think the first one that I hear the most is how often should you be washing your brushes? Now, washing your brushes should be done every 2 weeks. Every week for any eye brushes or anything that goes close to your eye, you 100% you should be washing every single week. There's no question about that. If you are a practicing makeup artist, then your brushes should be cleaned after every single client. And that means using more than just Cinema Secrets. That means actually going in with soap and water and washing your brushes after every single client, babe. If you are a regular human being, then every 2 weeks is fine every week is fine for eye brushes, and every 2 weeks is okay for powder brushes. But if you have sensitive skin or you feel like you break out or you have acne, you should be washing all of your brushes every single week to avoid any bacteria buildup. Now, I also hear a lot of the time, like, oh, Ashley, but I don't need to wash my brushes all the time. Like, I don't do professional stuff, blah, blah, whatever. Like, what can I use in between? So that's where something like Cinema Secrets does come in. Yeah, see how this one is stained with the black as well? Oh, this one's coming out pretty easily. Okay, good. But, you know, if you really need to, you can use 70% proof isopropyl alcohol. You should be spraying all of your makeup palettes with 70 proof isopropyl alcohol between uses to make sure that they're nice and sanitary. I'm crazy and use 90 proof. You don't have to use 90 proof, but you can spray your brushes with rubbing alcohol, let them dry, But ideally, in between uses, you would want to use something like Cinema Secret so they don't damage, again, the integrity of your brushes. You only need the smallest little tap, and then that is really it when it comes to that. But that should really be if you absolutely cannot wash your brushes in between your last use and your next use. Another very good question is, Ashley, why are you using dish soap? Why are you not using the brush soap? Like, but I don't understand. Isn't it like going to ruin the bristles? No, this is not a harsh soap. This is a very gentle soap. You can use brush cleaner, you can spend the extra money on the brush cleaner, fine. Any gentle soap, including gentle hand soaps, not the foams, don't use the foams, but gentle soaps are fantastic for this. I don't recommend using bars because I don't feel like they're sanitary at all. But if you feel like you're sanitary using the bar, then fine, use the bar. I prefer a liquid because I can throw away that liquid after I'm done. You can use any sort of gentle soap, Dawn dish soap. You can use adult shampoo so long as it's sulfate free and gentle. If you use any harsh shampoos or soaps, it can shorten the bristle life and shorten the lifespan of your brushes. And like obviously you don't want that because brushes are expensive. A big excuse I hear a lot of the time when it comes to like why people don't wash their brushes is, oh, well, if I wash my brushes, every time I do that, the bristles fall off. No, babe. So here's the reality, right? Brushes age. Brushes age just like we age, and just like we age, shit falls off. Things fall off all the time. Things fall off of us all of the time. So you need to consider, if my brush is shedding, maybe it's old, maybe it's time to get rid of it. It's also about being gentle with your brushes. You're gentle with your kids, you're gentle with your car, you're gentle with all of these things. You should be gentle with your brushes to extend the lifespan of them. The more that you are aggressive and you rub and you pull and you yank, those things are going to kill your brush. Your bristles are gonna fall off, everything's gonna fall off. There's no need. Okay, so like here's the thing, right? If you're gonna do this, don't do this with a full set of nails, right? If you have acrylics or you're like me and wear press-ons, make sure you're wearing gloves. I wasn't like super in love with these nails anyway, so I didn't mind that my press-ons came off. But if you like your nails or you paid a lot of money for them, wear gloves. A pair of gloves is fine. I did all of the little brushes already, and now we're gonna move on to the big brushes. Now the little brushes took me a while. Literally had to take a break in between. I was doing that for a little over an hour and a half, and I think the last hour, this usually takes me about 2 if I have to do all of my brushes, but the last hour is gonna be all of my big brushes, so I wanted to show you how I do that. I hope this angle doesn't look weird. When it comes to the bigger brushes, you're going to need a little bit more soap, obviously, so grab some more of your soap and just put it on into your bowl. Pass that off to the side. And I'm going to start with like this angled brush because it's the first one I grabbed, to be honest. And you'll need a little extra soap on here more than likely. And you're just going to literally do the same thing. It might take a little bit longer to get more of the white. And I know, so usually when you do the bigger ones, you will have to like rinse off the scrubber or squeeze out the soap from it because it will hold more product for sure. But you're going to do the same thing. You want to make sure you're going until those suds turn white. Once the suds turn white, that's how you know you're all clear and you're all clean. And when it comes to the bigger brushes, it is harder to get the soap out of them, so I just keep rinsing and squeezing until I don't see any more suds when I squeeze. If you have an event the next day, these are the ones that you really want to make sure are dry. So just go back and forth like you did the smaller ones and do the squeeze test, see if there's still suds coming out. So that one still has a little bit of soap still coming out. So I'm going to do it one more time. Squeeze the water out. And go back and forth. Just like that. and you should be good. So we're gonna keep doing that until all of these brushes are done, and I can't wait for this to be done. At this point, I have been doing this what feels like 4 hours. In reality, it has really only been an hour and a half with like a 10-minute break in between. So, you know, it just feels like it's never ending. But it is nice to have all clean brushes. I love when the brushes get all sudsy like this. I know it's probably not good for the bristles and everything, but it's fine. I'm okay with it. Whew, your arm hurts though. Like, you get a good arm workout. And a lot of people ask too, Ashley, how do I wash my sponges? How do you wash your sponges as a makeup artist? Like, don't you use them on people? No. I do not use sponges on my clients. I do use those disposable powder puff things. That's different. Those disposable powder puffs I throw away, or I give them to the client for later on if they want to use for their touch-ups. I do not, under any circumstances, use like beauty blender sponges. I do not, under any circumstances, use beauty blender sponges on my clients. I don't think they're sanitary. I know you can wash them in alcohol and stuff and let them soak. I am aware of that for sure. You can do that. You can let them soak in alcohol, then wash them in dish soap and squeeze until everything is out. I just don't personally trust that. I know too much bacteria grows in between those things for me to be comfortable. So it's just my personal preference. I do not use sponges on my clients. I use it on myself, obviously, or I will use the disposable ones. So the ones that I can literally just use and throw away. I don't know how well you guys can see this one, but it's so satisfying. The foundation ones, you definitely need to go in a lot. And I usually like to leave the foundation brushes for last because they tend to make the most mess since the foundation tends to splatter around the sink. Washing fan brushes is fun because you can only go like this. If you go side to side, you will ruin the integrity of the brush, so you want to go back and forth. We have the soap on there, and we're taking our little scrubber, and we need to wet it some more because I got it all over my glasses. Oh, and I'm getting on the mirror. Great, love that. Pretty sure I got some on you too. And we're mostly going back and forth, trying not to go in circles like this, so back and forth just to keep the integrity of the brush. Now, if you have any expensive brush like this or a brush that you're nervous about getting messed up, don't worry, you can absolutely wash this brush the same way you would any other one. Just be a little more mindful about it, be a little more gentle about it. This one has been used a lot. This is my favorite brush. This is the, what is this? This is the Chanel Powder N106. I love this brush. I think the application of blushes with this and any powder really is just so soft and so fantastic. Maybe I'm just paying for the name, but I'm obsessed with it. It's my only like true expensive brush that I own. And I adore it. And for this one, we're just gonna swirl since it's a bunny tail, so the swirling motion won't ruin it too much. And the squeeze test. Oop, there's still some soap in there, so let's put that back in the water. One more time. Ooh, dry hand. Much better. This dual end brush is always a fun time because you have to do two for the price of one. And I always use both sides because I never know how to give myself a break when it comes to needing to clean. And now the other side. So now with something like this one, that staining that I was talking about before, This one has staining on the sides from eyeliner and staining on the top from blush. Maybe it's a liquid blush, I don't remember. So something like this is not going to come out with just Dawn dish soap. I'm going to have to wait till I get Cinema Secrets to get everything out, meaning that I will not be using this on anybody else. I fear it's time to say goodbye to this brush because every time I touch it, little hairs come out. So she's gonna go on the side. Unfortunately, she's going in the garbage. She's had a good run for the last 5 years, maybe 4 years. She was great. R.I.P. to a real one. You know what? This one too. This brush is also coming out every time I wash it, so R.I.P. to another real one. To think it would be the expensive IT Cosmetics brushes. Do better, IT Cosmetics. But we will be washing a brush that never fails me. My big powder brush. I swear to God, if this starts shedding, I'll start crying. Now with the bigger brushes, you have to make sure you're turning them so you can get all of the sides of the brushes. Okay, so about 2.5 hours later, which feels like a lifetime, I am officially finished washing all of my brushes. I have a love-hate relationship with doing it because it takes so long, especially when I have to do every single one. And I knew I had to do every single one because I never got a chance to clean mine before I moved. So I knew it was gonna be a beast, but it always feels so good to have amazing clean brushes and to know that I'm putting the best brushes and the best products on my client's face and on my face. I mean, I wanna have nice clean brushes too. Why would I wanna put gross stuff on my face? So if you feel like your makeup is caking, you're breaking out, you know, things are peeling off, it's more than likely because your brushes are gross. That's the reality of it. Sometimes you can get away with it for a little bit. You can get away with like an extra week of not washing your brushes. But when an extra week becomes an extra month, becomes an extra 3 months, it starts to become a problem. So just make this part of your routine, like once a week on a Sunday or whenever your day off is. Just set aside a few hours, an hour, 2 hours, however long it's going to take you to wash your brushes, and make sure that you're doing it for your skin's health, for your own health, and for your brush's health. Because at the end of the day, like, the bacteria that grows in your brushes is going to make the life of them shorter. Think about it that way. Thank you so much for joining me on this fun little lesson. I absolutely love teaching my little tips and tricks. If you want to see more makeup artistry tips, tricks from the pros like myself, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. When was the last time that you washed your brushes? I will be judging you in the comments, and I will respond back whether or not I'm revoking your makeup license or not. And you can go follow me on my Instagram and TikTok at amariecon.mua if you want more content like this. Love you.